Greetings. Welcome to the first official episode of Highpoint, Turning Point, and Low Point. For this episode, we'll be reviewing, the movie, one of my favorites, Jurassic Park. And the title, most likely for this video, will give it away, that I do think rather highly of this film, as this is, I would consider, the high point of the franchise, the best movie in the series. And from here, it is, unfortunately, steadily downhill. And I think it's important to acknowledge that every entry in the franchise after still, though, furtively tries to capture the magic of his first movie. But let's look and see if we can figure out a few of the things that do make this first movie, Jurassic Park, great in the first place. And I think the first place to really assess, kind of get an idea about the movie, is the characters. And I know a movie about dinosaurs, you would think probably the dinosaurs would be the first point or the focal point for the movie. And that's certainly true, though I think for any film that it must be character-driven. In order for a thriller of sorts or adventure movies or stories in general to work, you really do have to care about the characters, their fate, see if they'll make it or not through whatever trials or tribulations or adventures or misadventures, all the threats and perils, especially if you're traveling through a dinosaur park. And I think the movie does a great job of making every character very distinct early on. Right away you can tell very obvious differences, just personality, behaviors, even the way the characters are all dressed. You look at the main three, I'd say the main trio of the film, Dr. Alan Grant, Dr. Ellie Sattler, and Dr. Ian Malcolm. Dr. Grant usually wears the blue shirt of his black aviators and his red bandana, very distinct, plus his hat. Ellie Sattler, she usually has that coral orange-looking shirt with a blue undershirt. And Malcolm has the all-black leather rock star look, dark sunglasses. Each character is very distinct, unique. Secondary character, I would say, John Hammond, he's all dressed in white. Supposed to be the rich billionaire who's financing the whole operation. I think that's another strength, is not just the main three characters are compelling and that you know who they are instantly, but it does have a lot of great side characters. Before I get to that, I do want to go back and just talk about those first three, the main trio. It does seem like a lot of great stories has their main trio or those three front-running characters. And Dr. Grant, brave, knowledgeable, experienced, still humble enough to know when he's wrong or making a mistake and tries to do the right thing. Obviously, he looks out for the kids when they go through the park after the power goes out. And Ellie Sattler, I think, is another good addition to the cast. Not what we would consider now a girl boss. I mean, she struggles and she does help, though. She helps with the team when she's chased by the raptors. You can tell she's in danger. These aren't easy things for her to take care of. She narrowly escapes with her life. And then Dr. Ian Malcolm, he is, if you read the book, is the mouthpiece for the author and very opinionated. Great quotes throughout the entire film. Almost everything he says is like an instant quote about chaos and control and life will find a way, and whether or not scientists should think about the moral issues, if they, yes, I can do this, but should we? Never stop to ask that question. And the three of them do a great job when they have the dinner scene or the lunch scene, eating the sea bass. And all three immediately point out the moral complexities of the park, all the issues with Jurassic Park. Much to John Hammond's, annoyance, the only person he has on his side is the lawyer. But I think it's really great to show that all three characters, those main characters, take issue with the park, but for different reasons they get to the same conclusion. And honestly, it really is the characters that drive the first half of the movie until the dinosaurs escape. And as far as the dinosaurs are concerned, I think that is very key. The fact that you have characters within the film acknowledging the danger they show or pose, and of course on film we do show that danger. It's not enough to imply it, although of course it is implied as well. You do have to see these dinosaurs be scary. What makes a T-Rex great is not just its appearance, but the fact that it can literally flip a Jeep and kill everyone inside. the kids are in danger. The main adults are in danger. Right away, Ian Malcolm gets injured. Right away, the T-Rex does take out Gennaro, the lawyer. And there's no hiding it. It's right there. It's on the screen for you to see. It's pretty graphic. But if there was any doubt about the danger these animals pose, that's out the window. Everyone's scared whenever the T-Rex shows up. Scenes afterwards with Malcolm, not as cocky or as arrogant after he runs in with the T-Rex. He can see the water in the footprint, just like in the little water cup. Once he sees the vibrations, he's like, we got to get out of here. When they try to rescue Grant and the kids, and Ellie and Muldoon, you see them run out of the forest because they're getting chased by the T-Rex. And one of the great chase sequences is that T-Rex chasing down the Jeep through the jungle. At least he never loses all of his levity, because he even says at the end of the chase, I think they'll have that on the tour when they're getting chased by the T-Rex. The Raptors, they are like the end game threat, the Act 3. We see them, and they kind of fulfill the potential placed out by Grant in the beginning scenes of how they'll work together. You won't see them coming. They think about problems. They solve them. They can open doors. They're man's match. They're faster, much more lethal. And we see that because they take out several main characters. They take out Ray Arnold, who's supposed to try to get the park back online. They take out the game warden, Muldoon, who is the most equipped to deal with these threats, and he's still outmaneuvered by them. He has to kind of sacrifice himself to save Ellie in a no-win situation, I'd say. And, even the Dilophosaurus, that's one of the scariest scenes I remember watching when it first came out, is just those frills coming out and Nedry getting hit in the face with the tar or whatever, the poison, and it's just unnerving. And then when you think he's safe, he gets back in the Jeep, and then bam, there's the frills, Dilophosaurus in your face. I know I was hiding. That's certainly a scene that scared me as a kid. But that gives the dinosaurs just certain gravitas you got to have. You can't have them being friendly little pets. They are, even though they're animals, not necessarily monsters, they are a danger. And on the other side, of course, you do want to see just the wondrous, or maybe the friendly dinosaurs, either herbivores. They do take time to build up to the scary parts. You have the Brachiosaurus, how wondrous that looks. It's just larger than life, not even possible. How is this possible? Same thing with the Triceratops, even though it's sick. It's still just, you can see from the characters on the screen, Dr. Grant particularly, just loves dinosaurs, as do most people who watch the films. And it really does come down to, I would say, the central theme. Maybe there's a few, but one that really stands out to me for this film, it's a pretty strong one, is that need for control, the pursuit of control over chaos. Dr. Wu, scientist, he has an argument with Ian Malcolm about whether they can control the sex of the dinosaurs, and that's when Dr. Malcolm is like, well, life will find a way, that there's just too many variables to control. And Ellie Sattler similarly has a conversation with John Hammond when they're eating the melted ice cream, that the control that they had in the park before they lost the power was an illusion. They never really had control of the situation. They were always at mercy of the elements, of the dinosaurs, of the park. But to conclude, I don't want to go too lengthy with this. Jurassic Park, it just hits all the right notes. It's innovative, especially for its time, the visuals, it's unprecedented quality, and it's a tight script. Like, it's a very simple story. Characters, trying to survive. Once a monster gets away, you present the monster, of course, is going to get out. And I got to say, everything that could happen, it does happen. And no one in their right mind would ever want to come back to an island like that. Yet people, will go back many times in this franchise with diminishing returns. But nonetheless, this is the high point of the Jurassic Park franchise. It does capture our imaginations, and it kind of guarantees that no matter how poor each entry in the franchise is here on out, this first movie is of such quality that people always want more dinosaurs, more Jurassic Park. And I guess if it guarantees that we'll keep coming back for more, they'll keep making movies, and we'll go keep watching them no matter how bad they get.